Let's talk about Quest, baby. We're talking about you and me. And that really sounded stupid. Hey everyone, it's Dan, Senior Application Engineer with Quest, back with another Dansplainin for you. Hey, today we want to talk about the efficiency of our units. I know, we've talked about it before. We talk about how much energy you're going to save, how much money you're going to save, but today we want to put it a little bit different perspective. So often when other people talk about their dehumidification equipment, they show water pouring out of a unit. Well, guess what? We can do that too. Take a look. Anyone can do that. But let's talk specifically about how much water you get out for the energy you use. What did it cost to get that water out? What did it cost for you to dehumidify your swimming pool, your school, your indoor grow operation? That's what it comes down to. You're trying to run a business, you're trying to keep your business profitable, and that means you have to find the most efficient, cost-effective way of getting out the water. So how much water do you get out for every kilowatt hour you use? Let me show you. Let's start out with an example. Check it out. Here's a 1 kilowatt hair dryer. 1 kilowatt hair dryer means if I run it for 1 hour, that's 1 kilowatt hour of electricity. So what does that get me? Well, it certainly gets me dry hair if I dry my hair for an hour. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about dehumidification. There's all kinds of technology out there that pulls water out of the air, and here's a great table to show you some. Let's start with the bottom one on the list. A lot of people talk about using reheat. What is reheat? Well, we're going to use an air conditioner to cool the air down and pull all that water out, but now the air coming into the space is just too cold. So we have to heat it back up, and well, right here, that's an electric resistance coil. So the way I'd heat it up is apply electricity to all those little toaster coils, and it takes a lot of juice to heat my air back up to where it's nice and comfortable for my people, for my swimmers, for my students, or for my plants. How much does this cost? No. Let's not talk cost. Let's talk water. How much water do I get out for 1 kilowatt hour of electricity? One shot. Doesn't look so majestic when you put it in those perspectives, does it? Now wait, you're like, but electric resistance isn't the only way to heat up air. That's right. Sometimes you can use gas, like in a furnace or a boiler, in which case, depending upon the technology and everything, you might get, look at that. That's still not all that impressive. I'm paying a lot to get that little bit of water out. Let's talk about some other technologies. So much more common way of doing dehumidification is with rooftop units, package units, unitary, whatever you want to call them. What they do is they add hot gas reheat. In other words, they take the air conditioning, they cool the air down, but then they use the heat recovered from that very same unit to heat the air back up. Essentially, they're turning that rooftop unit into a dehumidifier. But as we've talked about in previous Dansplainings, it's not quite the right tool for the job. So they don't get the efficiency of a standalone dehumidifier. In fact, from the data that we've gotten from other manufacturers, your small rooftop unit with hot gas reheat, you're talking a half a pint. Still better than 1 or 2 shot glasses. We're getting there, but we can do better. Another technology that a lot of people use is desiccants. Now, for those of you who are running office buildings, schools, indoor grow operations, things that are running more around 70 degrees, 50%, desiccant typically is not the right technology for the job. That's really made for low temperature, low dew point applications. Things that are cold like refrigerated warehouses and ice arenas, or pharmacies, or clean rooms, or things like that. But just for comparison's sake, a desiccant would give me about 1.5 pint glasses. So we're getting better. What do I always say? Use the right tool for the job, right? So what's the best thing to use for dehumidifying? Could it be a dehumidifier? All right, so let's try a dehumidifier, but let's go small. What we often refer to as a bucket dehumidifier, something you can get at a big box retailer, a home garden store, or anything like that. So what can one of those do? For that 1 kilowatt hour of electricity, about 3 pints. There we go. 3 pints of water from an actual dehumidifier. We're getting better. But can we step it up from here? You bet. Now, for our next technology, let's jump back to those rooftop units. Now, that rooftop unit with hot gas reheat didn't look so good, but there are some units out there, they're rooftop units with hot gas reheat specifically made for dehumidification. So what is the very best unit that I found out in the industry? What can it get me? Not 3, but 4 pints. Well, technically 3.9, but you get the idea. For the next technology, let's go back to dehumidifiers. What does a typical Quest competitor do? They're doing better than 4. In fact, they're doing 4 pints and 1 shot. Oh, isn't that better? Whoops, I just drank their water. Now, let's finish with the best. Of course, that's Quest. The Quest 506. What can a Quest 506 do at 70 degrees and 50%? Why? Not just 1 pitcher, but a pitcher and a half of water for that 1 kilowatt hour. But you say, don't you do better than that? Of course we do. We've got the brand new Quest 335, pulling 9.3 pints per kilowatt hour at 80-60, but at 70-50, it's still over 2 pitchers worth of water. That's a lot of water. What can we do with that? Let's see. Well, that was fun looking at all these visualizations of how much water we can get out with all these various technologies. But keep in mind, what it really comes down to is you're running a business. And you're trying to run your business in an efficient, cost-effective manner while maintaining the control of your space that you want or need for your product. Well, thanks everyone for joining me on this episode of Dansplaining. I hope you had a good time and maybe learned something. Please come back again and join us for another episode. See ya!